In this video, I will go through how to use the DfT TransXChange Tool to generate BODS compliant timetables data for your services. So first we have the welcome sheet, which provides a quick summary on what the tool is, the information required to generate timetables data, and some commonly asked questions. Then we have the instructions tab, which provides a step-by-step guide on how to populate the TransXChange tool, which I'll go through in this video. And then the company details tab. So we'll begin here by entering in the OTC license number. This will usually be 2 letters followed by 7 numbers, for example, PH0001234. Next, you will need to enter the name of your organization, for example, BODS Buses Limited. And then finally, enter in your national operator code. This is usually a 4-letter code that uniquely identifies a public transport operator, for example, BOBU. If you do not have a national operator code, you will need to get in touch with Travelline to register for one. Details on how to do this can be found on the Instructions tab. Remember to click Enable Content to allow the buttons on this sheet to become functional, so that once you click Add Timetable, a new sheet will appear where you can begin entering in your timetables information. So on section B, we'll begin by entering information on the bus route. This includes the route name of the bus, also known as line name or service number, for example, 12X. Next, you will need to enter the validity period of this timetable's data. For example, if this timetable comes into effect on the 20th of November, you could put the start date as 20/11/2023. If there is a date to when the timetable will be valid until, you can enter this here. For example, if I was running this timetable up until the end of the year, before changing the schedule, I would add an end date of 31/12/2023. If there is no known end date, please keep this blank. Next, you will need to specify whether you are entering information for your inbound or outbound timetable by selecting the drop-down list and clicking the relevant option. Then you will need to input the registration number for that service, which the traffic commissioner will have assigned. This will be your license number followed by a sequential number, for example, PH0001234/23. Further information on how to locate this can be found on the Instructions tab. Then you will need to specify whether or not the service is open to the general public. If it is, select the drop-down and click Yes. Next, we move on to section C, and here you will need to enter a label for the group of days that share the same bus journeys. For example, if you operate the same journey at the same times from Monday to Friday, but operate a slightly different journey in the weekend, these will be 2 separate patterns of days. Similarly, if you operate different journeys during a school term and non-school term, you can enter these as 2 separate patterns of days. So in this example, the 12X operates a different schedule in the weekday and the weekend, so we add these as 2 labels. Next, we scroll down to populate the days the service operates, beginning on 20th of November, which is the start date of this timetables, selecting the drop-down and clicking Monday to Friday. We will then copy and paste this up until the end of the year, which is when it is due to end. And then click the drop-down on Saturday and select the weekend option, and again copy and paste this up until the end of the year. All bank holidays are shaded in orange. The number 12X service does not run on any bank holidays, so I will make sure this is left blank by removing Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, bank holiday, and New Year's Eve. Once complete, you can scroll down to section D and begin entering information on your stops and times. So you need to begin by entering in the NAPTAN or ATCO code for all the stops along the route. All public transport stops have a unique code registered with NAPTAN that uniquely identifies that stop. This can be found on a number of sites, including Google Maps or OpenStreetMaps, but please note that this does not include all registered stops in NAPTAN. The best place to find your code on the bus stop is the NAPTAN Stop Registrations database. Details on how to download this can be found on the Instructions tab. If you find that your bus stop is not registered with NAPTAN, you need to get in contact with your local authority to request a code to be registered for your stop. Once you have entered in all the stop codes, you will need to specify whether the stop is a principal timing point. These are stops where the bus has been registered to depart from at a specific time, or timing information point. These are intermediate stops along the route that do not have a strict adherence to a scheduled arrival or departure time, and are usually given as estimates to when the bus is expected to reach the stop. You can also specify whether you only collect or drop off passengers at the stop. And then you have the hail and ride stop, where a passenger can signal to the bus driver that they wish to board the bus at any point along the road, and the driver will stop and pick up the passenger where it is safe to do so. So in this example, the 12X starts off at Tesco, which is a principal timing point, and must arrive at the stop at 8:30 a.m. It then passes by cinema at around 8:40 a.m. and the leisure centre at around 8:43 a.m. It then must reach its next stop at Porthia Road by 8:51 a.m. before finally reaching its last stop at Leach Pottery at 8:58 p.m. and it must drop off all passengers at this stop. Now I will enter in the timings for the Monday to Friday journey by selecting the drop-down and clicking the relevant label added to section C, in this case Monday to Friday. Now, as mentioned previously, the number 12X operates to a slightly different timetable on the weekend. In the weekend, the journey will start slightly later at 1 p.m, go past the timing information points at 1:10 and 1:13 respectively, before going straight to Leach Pottery and missing Porthia Road at 1:21 p.m. It also does a second journey in the weekend, starting at 3 p.m. and ending at 3:29 p.m. Now that we have all the information populated for the 12X service outbound sheet, we need to create another sheet to enter in the information for the return journey from Leach Pottery back to Tesco. So we will navigate back to company details, click Add Timetable, and just to avoid confusion, we can right-click on the tab and rename this to 12X Inbound, and rename this to 12X Outbound. You can then go back to the previous outbound sheet and copy over the bus route information and days of operation. Once all the information for this service has been entered, you can go ahead and repeat the same process for any further registered services by again going to the Company Details tab and selecting Add Timetable. Once you have finished entering timetables information for all your registered bus services, you can view a summary of all the sheets on the table here. If there are any issues that need addressing, this will be flagged on this table. So I'll go ahead and delete the extra sheet that I just created. And if everything has been entered correctly, it will say validation complete. When you click Update NAPTAN, this will put all the stop information from the NAPTAN stops database into the timetable sheets. This may take some time to load. Once this is done, click OK. Now, if I go back to the timetable sheets, you can not only see the name of the stop, but also the location coordinates. Once you are happy that everything is correct, go to the Company Details tab and click Create TransXChange. Select the destination you would like your timetables data to be saved and click Save. Once the TXT file has been generated, you will receive the following success message. Click OK. You can now view your TransXChange files on the specified destination folder ready to publish to BODS.